Alright, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian. Today I'm tackling this overgrown landscaping area. I'm getting rid of the hostas, getting rid of the mulch, and then installing a washed river gravel for a little bit less maintenance. And then also I might find a way to hide my trash cans. Hope you guys stick around.
Alright, here's a closer look at the area that we're talking about. You can see there's a ton of hostas in here, which I don't necessarily dislike. They're just way too big and overgrown. So the first step was to remove all those, and I'm trying to dig down deep enough where I can get all their roots, and I'm setting them on the plastic wrap so they don't get my sidewalk dirty. There's a closer look at the dirt and the roots that I took with them. I think we're going to be fine transplanting these and that they're going to grow back fine. Alright, now I've got to remove some dirt. There's a ton of excess dirt here because of all the mulch that's broken down over the last 20 years. So I need a place to put all the rock that I'm putting in here. Next to the sidewalk, I dug down about 1 inch, and then I sloped it up towards the house so it rises about 2 inches to 3 inches by the time it gets to the house. And then you can see I have a measuring tape here, and I've marked out with little dots where I'm planning on putting the hostas back in. Here's what they look like after they're planted. I tried to change up colors just to give it a little bit of a pattern. These are currently spaced at 4 feet apart, although I probably could have went a little bit further because these hostas really like to grow together, as you saw before. Since I'm not using a weed barrier or weed fabric, I'm going to go ahead and put down preen. I've had good success with this before, and they claim that it prevents weeds for up to 6 months. And yes, I did say I was not putting in a weed barrier. This was a project that I did. This was one of the first projects I did when we bought the house, was install this cable fence around my pool. And when I did that, I redid all of the gravel around here. I did not put a weed barrier down here, and I really like the way that it turned out. I still do get weeds in here, and I think everybody's going to get weeds in a gravel area or a mulched area. There is no maintenance-free option, but as you can see, when I went to pull this weed out, it pops right out. As long as you stay on top of this and either spray them with Roundup or pull them every once in a while, they don't have a chance to get all the way down to the dirt, and they're really easy to remove. You can see here I'm going to scrape some of this gravel back. I went down 3 or so inches when I did this, and you can see there is no barrier down there, but it works really, really well. You just got to stay on top of it. The other thing I like about this is when you're pulling weeds, you don't pull the fabric up with the weed because it never has a chance to root into it. Alright, here's the gravel that I'm using. The place that I got it from called it Mini Cobble. It's everything from 1-inch stones up to 4-inch stones, and this is a little bit different than what I've seen other people use. Some people use 2s and 3s or size 34, but as you can see, there's a ton of variations in it, and that's what I really like about it. The one downside is that it's not washed, so it's sandy or silty, and then also it's $55 a ton. This is by far the worst part of this project. Shoveling this stuff is not easy because of how big some of this gravel is, not to mention that it's heavy. You can see I have plenty more in that pile than I need for this project, but that'll be used in a later project. And then when I am spreading this, I am trying to go about 3 to 3.5 inches thick. The place that I bought it from recommended putting it down 5 inches thick. I think that was a little excessive in the area that I'm going for, but only time will tell, I guess. Alright, here's what it looked like after all the gravel was spread, and I'm really starting to enjoy or really like how this is looking. The only downside is it's really sandy and silty, so I'm going to take the time to go ahead and water the plants now so that they can have a chance to recover from being moved, but also I never realized how much I would enjoy watering rocks. This is where the project really starts to come together, and you can see how it's going to look. As you're watering these rocks and washing the sand off of them, you can start to see the different color variations come out. And I think it's looking pretty good. So I left this area open on purpose because I'm going to lay down some patio pavers here and put my trash cans on them. I've been hiding them behind a bush, so it's time to upgrade a little bit. All right, so after I excavated this and I tried to get it as level as possible, I'm just using a level right now to do a real quick check to make sure that it's fairly level. I scraped it off pretty well, and I'm just looking for a general slope from the house to the sidewalk. So now that I know that I have the general slope right and it's pretty flat, I'm going to use some play sand just to put down to cover up any low spots and make it even closer to level so that these patio pavers sit on them pretty nice. This doesn't have to be too crazy. This is just for my trash cans. This is not like I'm installing a patio paver set for a larger patio where I would want to put down a layer of gravel and then compact it. This is just purely to help me get these patio pavers pretty level so they look good. And then using the level as a straight edge, you could use a 2x4 for this or just anything flat and straight. I'm going to scrape the sand around so that it's pretty darn level, and then it's also nice to use the level because I can tell if I have the level that I'm looking for. Then all we have to do is lay down these pavers. These pavers are really actually kind of thin concrete pavers with stone in them. I don't know if I would use these for anything else. They're really thin and they're just under 24 inches wide, so they're really wide, so they're going to disperse that weight well. But you do want to make sure that everything's flat underneath these. Because of how thin they are, they might be susceptible to cracking. All right, here's the fence that I'm using to hide my trash cans. I didn't do a build or a workup on this one or show you how I did this because I didn't actually build this. My dad was bored on his vacation and he threw this together for me real quick, told me that I needed it. You can see that there are 2x4 structure on the inside there and then spacers between the pickets so that it mimics that shadow box look that I have on the fence around back. It's a pretty simplistic design, but it's going to do really well. You can see that the trash cans slide right in there from the back and hide them from the street. And both of them fit in there pretty nicely, and the fence isn't too high where I can reach over top and put my trash in that way. All right, so if we go back and take a look at what it looked like before, it was pretty bad. Now I am really impressed with the way that this came out. I'm really happy with the way it came out. I like how I reduced the number of hostas, spaced them out, kind of gave them a pattern or a rhyme or a reason where they're supposed to be. I really do like the gravel that I ended up using, that variation, everything from size 1 all the way up to 4-inch stone. I think gives it a really nice variation. There's a bunch of color in here. And then when it was hosed off and washed off, it has a really nice look to it. I think the trash can fence is going to work really well as well in hiding my trash cans from the fence. That solves another project or another problem that I had. So I'm really happy about that. Overall, this was a pretty simple project. It really didn't take that long. I did it at night after work. But yet again, this is another one of those projects that you could get done in a weekend and really transform the way that your landscaping looks. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you give it a like, comment, and possibly subscribe. And I hope you stick around and watch some of my future content. And I'll see you in the next video.